Those in attendance, thank you very much. This informational webinar on Kapow technology is brought to you by yaku and Kofax, a Lexmark company. I will be the moderator today. My name is Alan Kasich. I'm the Vice President Client Relations at yaku. A little bit about yaku before we start our webinar and speaking to Kapow. yaku is a leading solution provider and system integrator that helps organizations tackle any content-related issues by data capture, managing, automating, and simplifying business processes for medium and large enterprises globally. yaku is also a Kofax, which is a Lexmark company, Diamond Partner, which is the highest level that can be earned in the Kofax Global Partner Program. The Diamond status held by yaku is one of only 12 in the world and the only one in Canada, the Caribbean, and Latin America. Again, thanks everyone for joining our informational webinar. We're excited to be speaking about Kapow today, a transformational technology that we feel will be instrumental in creating unseen efficiencies within the Canadian transportation and logistics vertical. Kofax Kapow information integration and automation platform is the fastest and most efficient way to acquire, enhance, and deliver information, including from websites and web portals, of course, and placing that information into any enterprise applications. Information that was previously unattainable, unusable, or costly to integrate is now readily consumable to drive productivity and insight into the decision-making process. So yaku is a global company whose focus in all of its solutions is to create scalability for your business, of course offering customized versus out-of-box solutions, and we strive to provide our customers with choices. We do this through consultative engagements and are consistently engaging transportation and logistics companies across Canada with our project definition workshops to see where we can create unseen efficiencies within your organizations. The goal of our solutions at yaku are to significantly improve operational efficiencies to get the best from your organization's line of business processes. We automate every aspect of your processes to create a virtually touchless environment. We optimize resources, increase revenue, while reducing costs and minimizing errors and risks. Our solutions help organizations become industry leaders by creating efficiencies previously thought unattainable. We reduce day sales outstanding and increase revenue through touchless automation that triggers just about everything your organization requires to be successful faster. Without further delay, I would like to introduce you to our Kapow experts, Bill Galusha, Senior Marketing Executive at Kapow, and Anthony Young, Senior Business Development Executive at Kapow. Bill and Anthony will be our presenters today, and in the interim, while they're presenting, please feel free to type questions into the message box on your device screen, and our experts will handle all questions post the conclusion of Bill's presentation. Again, thanks for attending, and have a great webinar. Bill, I'll turn it over to you.
Great. Thanks a lot, Alan. Thank you for the introduction, and welcome everyone. As Alan said, I'm Bill Galusha. I'm with the Kofax Kapow team, and we'll be talking specifically about Kapow and kind of really a unique software technology that a lot of companies are using across many different industries. For this particular webinar, we're going to focus really around transportation and logistics, where we have a number of customers using Kapow today. And to kind of kick things off and really set the stage in terms of what we're going to be talking about, really when we look at today's enterprise, and this could be applied to companies in logistics, it could be applied to companies within banking, insurance, but the gist of this diagram is really to illustrate the challenges that many companies face, which is you have many different systems, many different data sources, both internal and external, that need to be where data needs to be aggregated and integrated with different business processes and different activities that are being performed within an organization. And this is really, when you think about what are some of the core challenges that companies have, integration continues to be really something that almost every organization struggles with today. And that's kind of what we'll be talking about in terms of how we can approach this. Because when you think about, okay, well, how do companies do it today? You do it through using EDI or other means of exchanging information or using APIs. But what we're going to present to you is really a unique and complementary way in terms of how you can integrate your systems, integrate data with your processes and different types of business activities that are being performed today. And as Alan mentioned, so Kofax Kapow automates the acquisition and integration of information, especially from websites and web portals. And this is critically important when we talk about integrating with partner portals, integrating with websites, web applications that are part of the whole logistics ecosystem of processes and activities, and really connecting that data and that information with your business applications, so like your transportation management systems, your ERP systems, and doing it without the need for coding. And these are just a few companies that are using Kapow today, and you can see there's a few that we've highlighted here within logistics, like Pitt, Ohio, Trinity Logistics, J.B. Hunt, and there's many, many others. But Kapow is also used across other industries as well, in banking, used by companies within customer service support centers where they need to aggregate information from a multitude of different systems. And we'll talk about kind of the more specific uses for Kapow within transportation and logistics. So really, what does Kapow do that's different and unique from other integration and automation technologies these days? Well, really what it does is it addresses the needs of the business that are going unmet today. So if we look from the left of this chart, historically IT is focused on core systems and core integration. And as I mentioned, that's typically done through EDI, using XML, APIs. Very good integration here. I mean, this has been generally the focus of where integration has occurred today and where IT has invested and spent most of their time and resources. And it's generally directed at high volume, very frequent transactions that are occurring where information, data needs to be moved between systems at a high frequency rate. But as you go farther to the right, you end up in these what I'll call tier 2, tier 3, where the volumes decrease and processes or business activities that are part of a process become either partly manual or 100% manual. And by 100% manual, I mean you have humans that are basically plugging the gap between moving data between systems. So logging into a web portal, say a partner's web portal, copying information out of that portal and pasting it into a transportation management system as an example. So, and we see quite a bit of this within logistics, but we also see it within other industries as well. And that's really where the focus of Kapow comes into play. We take this as an opportunity for us to help you automate those types of business activities and processes using really what we call robotic process automation. So software robots that mimic and interact with these different applications, websites, and web portals. And you'll see a little bit more about how the technology actually works. And you think, okay, what kind of problems do we solve? Well, in logistics, this could be everything from scheduling an order to tracking that shipment to closing out of the order. It could be billing and collection, so going into an internal system and pulling out information relative to outstanding collections and billing, and then going into a partner's web portal and figuring out exactly what's the holdup with closing out this and actually collecting payment on the shipment. Other uses where Kapow is being used to solve specific problems is around freight bidding, quotes, a lot of different customer service type operations. Any type of operation that involves information, data, and humans is a perfect fit for where Kapow can eliminate those last remaining manual processes that are still occurring within a logistics company. And Kapow does it with really virtually almost any business type of activity involving users, data, and systems. So in the middle you have Kapow doing a lot of the automation, and where you have the one person just sitting there is really just handling the exceptions. So where you have those outliers or something that needs human attention and decision along the way. But Kapow can integrate with and automate the activities involving websites and web portals. We can integrate and automate activities involving mainframe systems, green screen applications, like an AS400 system, being able to pull and push data between those systems. We can handle different document types. So a lot of times you have PDF files, digital PDF files that are part of the whole shipping process. So being able to extract those documents, say, from a shipper's portal, and then being able to move that information into your internal systems is something that Kapow can do as well. And then also email and Excel, obviously the two of the most common desktop applications used today with most organizations. Kapow provides a means for pushing and pulling data out of Excel documents, as well as it being able to interact with emails, in the case, say, of an order coming in through email, and being able to pull that information out of an email and move that into within your internal systems. So this kind of just gives you a picture of what Kapow could do. So take, for example, scheduling, tracking, and closing out loads. In a completely manual process, you have individuals, customer service reps, monitoring systems, searching and selecting delivery schedules, logging into customer portals to enter information, handling exceptions. All of that is handled by individuals. Now, in some cases you're using EDI with your big partners and customers, but as we've found, that's not 100%. And when it's not 100%, the solution is often applying or putting more bodies in front of computers to manually perform a lot of these activities. But with Kapow, what we're doing is essentially automating every step along the way. So everything from monitoring your systems to scheduling and tracking shipments, to logging into systems and pulling information out and moving that into internal transportation management systems, and then only funneling the exceptions to a customer service rep. So rather than having these reps do everything manually, it becomes automated by Kapow, which means they can handle a significantly higher volume of loads than previously had been done. So the key thing with Kapow is that it provides both a platform for integrating information as well as automating the flow of information. So if I kind of break this down into three elements or key aspects of what Kapow can do, the first thing is that it acquires the data. So this can be from external apps and sources like websites and web portals. You can see there are many examples of where you might go and collect information from external sources. But then also being able to acquire data from internal applications as well. Along the way, I mean, as you're moving data between these different systems, you have to enhance the information, so transforming it into the right format, running rules against that information, that data, before ultimately delivering it into the destination. And that destination could be an external portal, or it can be an internal application like your transportation management system or your ERP system. So that kind of gives you at a very high level what Kapow can do. And it does it in a much quicker way in terms of developing this integration and the automation. So if you think of traditional tools, developing integration using APIs or using EDI, these technologies are very resource intensive. They require a level of expertise in development resources. So they're costly to not only build, but also to maintain over time. And it also really gives you limited flexibility to bring on new customers. So for every new customer you bring on, it requires you to build that integration. And that can take a considerable amount of time. Now with Kapow, the approach is unique in that it doesn't take weeks or months to build these integrations. Spinning up a new customer, integrating with their TMS system can be done within a matter of a few days, and we'll kind of walk you through an illustration of how the technology works. But what that provides for a logistics and transportation company is an agile development and deployment model. So Kapow is not replacing, say, what you're doing today, but really complementing other technologies, integration technologies you have, and giving you a far better development platform for developing these integrations and providing a far quicker, rapid time to value in terms of to building these integrations between the different systems. And a good example is in Trinity Logistics is one of our customers here to kind of give you an idea. So in the case of Trinity Logistics, hundreds of carrier, payment processor sites, supplier websites, the ultimate goal for them was to reduce the cost of handling manual transactions on their business-to-business portal. So by deploying Kapow, they've cut costs up to 90% by automating these manual B2B processes. And now 95% of their supported LTL shipments are now being processed without any manual effort. So that relates to a better customer experience, better customer service to their customers. This also leads to better improved margins and top-line growth because you're not focusing your customer service reps on manual processes and activities, focusing on higher value type tasks and really growing the business. So at this point, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Anthony. And Anthony's kind of going to walk us through how Kapow works and really explain in a little bit more detail the technology behind the scenes and how you would apply this to your organization. So Anthony, it's all yours.
Oh, thank you very much, Bill. Hey, pleasure to meet everybody here on today. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on this PowerPoint. So how it works is, so what you're looking in front of you right now is our IDE environment, which is the development environment for mainly designed for business analysts. And if you notice here, there's several areas within the IDE. The main thing I want to help you guys focus is right in the middle where we have integrated the browser. This is where the actual, if you think of it, is a human be able to go into a particular website, grabbing in the informations. And what it does is that the individual will be able to right mouse click a particular area within that integrated browser and then click extract or enter text to put the information in there. And then up on top where it says the process design, it actually builds the flow for you automatically. You can also go into each one of those steps within the flow to manipulate it if you like to. And then down on the bottom, we'll give you the full XML and HTML controls of that actual web page itself so that it gives you more robust integration in that standpoint. And then down on the bottom right here is what we call the real-time development and testing, is that as soon as you execute a particular step, which is one of these buttons, one of these things that's highlighted up there as what we call a step, then if it's an activity step that is to extract information and populate a variable, it actually goes ahead and puts in the content of the variable so you can see exactly what the robot is actually doing. And we're defining them as a robot is basically a robot for us is a definition of a workflow here, this process design, which is a collection of all the different steps and activities. Okay? So with that in mind, so what we're going to do now is kind of go through a typical B2B portal. In this case here, we are actually going into Lean Logistics, kind of showed you how we actually go into the actual website, enter the user ID credentials, and that's what we're doing, and that's how we're building the interface. We enter the text here. So we're building that step. As you can see up on top, there's only one step. The very first step is to load the page, and then the next thing we do, we enter the text. And then as we're building the different steps itself, we navigate within the actual website. We're starting to go ahead and retrieve the information that we want to go after. In this case here is probably the tracking number for that particular container or the shipment itself. So we're actually going into the details of that web page, extracting the information, and then we actually go navigate it down to the individual shipment itself. And in this case here, we are extracting the surcharge of the fuel charge, extracting it from that information so we can go ahead and update our TMS system. Okay? And then as you can see, when we put this process here in what we call a debug mode, and then basically then at that time, it runs the whole process automatically, repeated it until you are completion of this information. And what we want to show here is the extraction of the information and what the information is being populated. Okay, once we go ahead and finish populating that, then we're going to go back into our TMS system. In this case here, in order to show you the integration to a TMS, we don't have a TMS, so we are using Salesforce as the indication of our TMS system, where we go back into our Salesforce.com and update that information for the tracking number and the surcharge information so that you can go ahead and have it and then continue on with your process. Now, what you note here of the entire process is fully automated, whereas in the past, you have a person that actually gone through those websites, captured the information, come into your TMS, enter the information onto their TMS. Okay? So here, like Pitt, Ohio, we got one of our largest customers. This is his quotation there. Yeah, basically we're seeing a 95% reduction in manual effort from our customer service rep. Kapow handles what our users were doing automatically, more consistently, and more accurately. And that's coming quoting from Darren Klum, the Director of Business System from Pitt, Ohio. So with that, I'm going to turn this back to Bill.
Great, thank you, Anthony. And there's a couple questions that I often get asked, Anthony.
Sure.
In terms of websites and web portals, how does what's the breadth in terms of supporting these different sites, different portals? I mean, they're all unique, all different. You can kind of explain a little bit about that.
Certainly. We treat each one of those websites as an individual data sources. So what we do is you create what we call a robot or a process for each one of those websites, and then you teach that robot how to navigate and the information you want to extract or interact with, and then that'll basically complete that particular website. We handle more than 97% of those particular websites itself in order to go ahead and fully integrate, so that those websites could have either APIs or do not have APIs, like PayPal do not have APIs. We can go ahead and tap in there and logging in as a human with their credentials and simulating the human interaction.
And that really, I mean, that's great. It kind of sums up exactly, Kapow provides access and integration to data from, applications and web portals that are really, really hard to reach. And that's really where, when companies are challenged with integrating with these portals or these websites and these web applications, that generally then leads to manual work that's being done. Swivel chair, human swiveling between different applications, different portals, and that's really what Kapow can do in terms of eliminating all the manual efforts and around these activities. So as you saw, I mean, Kapow can really transform the part of your business where you have a lot of these manual processes and activities occurring, where traditional technologies and integrations are not quite giving you 100% automation, and that really leads to the opportunity to eliminate those remaining manual activities using Kapow, complementing your current technologies, and really giving you a proven ROI in a very short time frame. Anthony, one of the questions is that I often get is around Microsoft Excel in terms of integrating. I touched on it a little bit. Excel's probably the most popular desktop tool used today by every organization, but maybe explain to the folks on the phone how that works.
Certainly. Yeah, so Kapow treats the Excel as another data source. We interact with an Excel natively, so what we need to do is bring the Excel spreadsheet in, open that up, and we can go ahead not only be able to extract information from the Excel, we actually go ahead and be able to create Excel worksheet itself natively within the actual the platform itself. So it treats it like a normal Excel. We just navigate directly to the columns and rows and update that particular cell full of information. And in which case we do see a lot of our customers using Excel as their reporting mechanism, and they constantly going out to different websites or different internal systems in order to capture information to populate that particular report. Well, that could be fully automated with Kapow. That answer your question, Bill?
Yeah. And for those on the call, if you do have questions, you can post through the Q&A panel. Another question that we have here is that we didn't get into too much details in terms of the software robots that are built with Kapow. What's the deployment mechanism? I mean, I know what the deployment mechanism is, but maybe you can kind of share with them how robots are packaged up and deployed within a company.
Certainly. So what we're seeing here, what we showed you, is basically the development environment that basically runs on a particular desktop, laptop platform. Once you finish building that, we do have a server level platform, so where you go ahead and upload what we call the robot definition, upload that directly into our server, and then the server, you can go ahead and schedule that to run whenever you want to, or perhaps what you want to do is we automatically wrap some of the interfaces. The most common interfaces are your .NET, JavaScript, Java itself, and then you got your REST, and then so we automatically wrap that. So now that could be invoked by any programs if you want to, internally or external, and also invoke it by what we call a caplet, in which case an end user can invoke that from a portal-like application itself. So again, there's two pieces, and the reason why we did an integration browser that you saw earlier is so that we can go ahead and operate it behind the scene without any type of desktop integration that needs to take place.
And while we're on that topic of integration browser, so could you explain to the folks on the phone how Kapow would integrate with a green screen application? So in logistics and transportation, AS400s are pretty common. And I know we have customers today that have integrated with those systems, but maybe explain to them how we handle those types of integrations.
Certainly. So typically what happens, like the AS400, IBM also deliver emulations that emulate the actual 5250 session as a HTML. So once that page is available as HTML, then we tap into that HTML and be able to operate the 5250 screen session as if a human was actually operating that as a session. So we integrated at that level. Okay. Bill?
Let's see here. I don't see any other questions at the moment, but any other closing thoughts or information you want to share, Anthony, before we turn it back over to Alan?
Yeah, sir. So some of the things here, as you can see what's in front of you, use some of the benefits of using the Kapow assets. We basically access and integrate data from any applications, hard-to-reach data sources. And if you are looking at true end-to-end business processes, and you'll see that line of businesses actually start using external systems as part of their entire workflow. And where that is the ideal situation where Kapow can go ahead and do that. So basically it leads to the second bullet where we can eliminate those manual information-intensive activities, which is non-value add to the process, and just get that cost out of the entire process. And then what it also does is the last step here is transform the businesses. A lot of times now what we're seeing is not only are some of the customers, what we've seen in my past here, is that they're not only using it as a cost reduction measure, they're actually using us, the platform, to go ahead and offer new businesses, new offerings that they can go ahead and offer to their customers and the constituents. And we also have proven ROI. So return on investment is very fast because it's very easy to go ahead and integrate these things. A lot of times, a lot of customers not able to do that in a timely manner with the traditional type of API development. So with that, I think that sums it up. I believe, Bill. So
yeah, and then you made a good point about cost reduction and customer experience. Customer experience is a big part of what Kapow can deliver in terms of, not only providing a way of controlling costs, but growing the business without having to add more resources, but also in terms of the experience, being able to update systems more frequently throughout the day versus, say, only doing updates once a day. And that relates to a better experience for your customers. Just to close things out, in terms of next steps, you can visit the Kofax.com or the yaku website for more information on the Kapow software technology that we talked about, and read more about the product and some of the other customers that we have using Kapow today. At this point, I'm going to turn it back to Alan. And Alan, if you'd like to give some closing thoughts, and we'll wrap things up.
Thanks, Bill. Thanks, Anthony. Great work. And the efficiencies and the tangible benefits of what you've described in Kapow and its transformational potential for any organization within transportation and logistics is incredibly apparent and very tangible. Thank you both for a great presentation. Thank you to everyone who's in attendance today. And as well, to Bill's point, we urge you to visit the yaku website at www.yaku.com. Of course, I'm always available as well, and my email is alan@yaku.com as well. Again, thanks for joining us today, and we look forward to you joining us for future informational webinars. And we also look forward to engaging you post this webinar to see just how Kapow can help transform your organization. Thank you, everyone.